Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. I wanted to briefly talk about Best Friends Volume 2. My wife had gotten me this for my birthday back in December. It got released January, I think it was 22nd, so it just arrived in the mail the other day. And my buddy Brian came over and we watched Volume 1 and Volume 2 together. I've already spoken about Volume 1. It's definitely grown on me a lot. I did do a video about Volume 1, so I will link that in the description. That video came out about 3 months ago, so I'm not really going to cover Volume 1 again. Um, but I will say the Blu-ray release is pretty nice. It comes with a digital copy. It has deleted scenes, featurettes, commentary, and that's about it. But it overall I think was a pretty good package for fans. So go back and check out the Volume 1 review if you want the full picture. But this is really going to cover Volume 2. Volume 1 has grown on me. I find it to be very quirky and fun, and especially because I had my friend over, it actually enhanced the movie and made it more fun and enjoyable. We were joking around and stuff. One is stepped up a bit. So volume two, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen one, go see it. or yeah, and two, because otherwise I'm going to spoil some things, I assume. But I'll try not to. Volume two pretty much takes place right after one. The um, the end of one is sort of a weird cliffhanger with some strange going-ons between Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero's characters. Greg Sestero now goes off on his own, and he um, tries to kind of take what's owed to him without getting too into the story and rooting too much for you. In doing so, he kind of goes on this adventure and taking this safe with him. I don't want to say too much. Taking this safe with him, but you'll know what it is if you've seen the first film. And runs away with his girlfriend, and the cops pull them over, and she has a expired license plate, and they almost get in trouble. And the cop suggests, "You guys better go off the road and go to a hotel for the night, and then tomorrow morning take care of any issues you have with your car with the plates, because I don't want to pull you over again and arrest you or get you or give you a ticket or get you in trouble." But the cop is very leery. He's trying to like search the car. Um, there are some things that are unexplained in this film, slightly. Anyhow, they she ends up they stop at this hotel. Things are very strange there. Not like really strange, but still just awkward. The whole movie is very awkward and has that B movie aesthetic to it, even though it's definitely more straightforward and more serious, I guess, of a film than the first one, than Volume One. So they go to this hotel. She ends up calling her uncle. The uncle picks them up and now is trying to help them open this safe. The uncle's sort of a weird character. He says a lot of perverse stuff. You don't know why. He seems underhanded. He has people around him that are trying to help him open the safe and help, Greg Sestero and his girlfriend, but they seem underhanded too. And by like the end of these films, by the end of the second film, you don't know at all who to trust. You don't know who Greg should trust. You don't know if you could trust his girlfriend, the uncle, the people he has around him. Nobody. Um, it ends off on a very strange note. You see someone from the first film come back into the second film, and in a very weird way, but like funny, not weird like you can't believe it, just kind of humorous. And it ends up well. It's not like some crazy ending that doesn't make sense. It makes sense. It all ends up and it's concise. I would say compared to the first film, this one again, as I said, feels way more straightforward and kind of on point, where the other one's kind of goofy and a little bit all over the place. There are some scenes where Greg Sestero has like these not premonitions, but almost like flashbacks, or he starts to think about things and he sees Tommy Wiseau talking to him from the movie and starts to think about things and feel bad about certain actions he's now done in these films. But they're all strange and weird, and there's just this sense of not knowing who to trust. That's pretty much what this second one feels like. There is a slight cliffhanger at the end of the movie, but everything really wraps up nicely, and the cliffhanger is sort of small. It's not something huge. There is one part that I was not completely clear on with the police officer, whether the police officer was um, who they portrayed or if it was someone else, for lack of a better term, without giving too much away. The first film is about an hour and 40. The second one, I think, is an hour and I want to say 30. So the second one's a little shorter. And yeah, I think some of the stuff in the film feels illogical and almost fake. It feels like someone's kind of like what do they call those when you get when you're in that heat too long and you start dreaming weird stuff? It almost feels like a fever dream in some instances. That's the best way for me to put it. Where Greg Sestero is seeing the strange stuff happening and hearing things and having these like sort of daydreams, and you don't know what's real and what isn't. But like I said, in the end, it does tie up pretty nicely. The name Best Friends is pretty apropos for the two movies. I think it's a fun, independent film by Greg Sestero. The two parts kind of draws it out a bit. I don't know if it needed to be as long as it is, but it's a cool, fun, you know, couple of movies, and I enjoyed it. And I think if you're with your friends and you can focus on the story and the stuff happening, but also get a chuckle out of, Tommy's acting and some of the weirdness. The characters are weird. It's almost like a goofy version of like what you'd see in like a David Lynch film, like Lost Highway. Like there's these strange characters, but instead of being creepy and like weird, they're just goofy and weird. They're not you don't feel threatened by these characters. They just seem silly. And some of the acting is a little silly as well, but it's overall pretty good. And yeah, I enjoyed the movies. I think most people who like really prime cinema will not like these. And people who like stuff that's extremely silly like The Room probably will like this more. I think that that would be more in that vein, except this is way more of a coherent narrative, where The Room is just sounds like an alien, did the verbiage in that film. So yeah, I would recommend Best Friends Volume 1 and 2. I think if you have a drink and relax and want to see something really some silly adventure with these two best friends and see some crazy acting from Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero being this strange like quiet loner type, check it out. It's pretty good. And as I said, this came with the digital copy, so I uploaded that to my Voodoo account. This is currently, I think, about $17 on Amazon. So pretty good for two movies. And that's it. I enjoyed it. I think it was good. I think it's gonna have an audience for people who like, the Disaster Artist and The Room, and want to see these two together. And you can definitely see that these two have a friendship and a dynamic between them as they film, and even in the featurettes and the little deleted scenes or whatnot, you can see that they do get along really well, which is cool to see. So, thanks guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.